Exactly. He said he just literally told Kairi like, okay, nah, Fanny won't be given to you at all. So practice the other ones and get good at that instead. So it won't be a problem. It's all positive time for ONIC so far, as the second ban for Rebellion will be the 1-1. We have seen it being very flexible and all the outplay potential in the world. They don't want that in the hands of CW at all.
And that is so curious, right? Because as we all know from the recent patch, the 1-1 has actually been nerfed, but it seems like even since yesterday, 1-1 is always either first picked or even first banned here in the first phase. I wonder why this is.
I honestly, as a 1-1 player myself, the nerf didn't really have a massive impact. The thing is, it's all about the weakness points, right? You can actually take the weakness points back if you have a Purify. The thing is, though, in the gold lane, none of the marksmen will actually use the Purify. Purify is a very, I don't know, we just don't see it anymore. I don't think it's as powerful as a Sprint, as a Flicker, maybe even perhaps as a Vengeance on Clint. A lot of other battle spells are more efficient, better cooldown timers, and do more, right? So with no Purifies on the board, 1-1 didn't get nerfed. She basically is exact same as the last patch.
I mean, way back in the previous seasons, there was the idea that the marksmen are super hyper carry, they have to be very, very safe, and that's why the Purify seems to be kind of meta on the marksman. But in the current season, if you go for a Purify, that's way too defensive, and all the other marksmen have a chance to use the Sprint, to use the Flicker, and try and get an edge on you. So it's always better to have a more proactive, a more aggressive approach with your battle spells. And speaking of that, we do see the Akai locked in by the side of ONIC Esports, providing a lot of crowd control and providing, I don't know, a bit of threat, a bit of dispersion threat for the side of Rebellion Zion if they want to go for that neat organized dive.
I agree with you here, but with the Akai pick coming through for the side of ONIC Esports without Keyboy, where exactly is this Akai going to go? Because we saw in the keys to victory for the side of Rebellion is to limit Samo's hero pool, right? This is because so far we haven't seen too much of Samo. We've seen him on the Diggy and a few other heroes, but I don't know, is Akai in his arsenal? We'll just have to see, as now Rebellion has secured their next 2 picks here in that Beatrix as well as that Julian.
We've spoken a little bit about the Akai in the back just now, but wait a minute, ONIC picks up that Paquito. For Rebellion 2, they're actually going with the alter ego route, technically, right? Because in game 1, we saw the exact same picks from alter ego. Rebellion on the red side. They're adopting that 2 picks, same 2 picks, the Beatrix and the Julian. But back again to the Akai point. We spoke to Kairi, and we had a little discussion in the back about Akai. I think Akai is just not really good in the roam position anymore, because in the first few levels, before you actually get that ultimate, you're a sitting duck. You don't do anything. As KV put it, you're a vlogger roamer. You're not a real roamer. You're just roaming around the place. You're opening up the map and you're recording stuff, giving information back to your team before the heavy spin comes out. Even when you have that heavy spin, you can't really use it as effectively as when you are a jungler. A jungler that can gank all across the map. A jungler that can secure objectives with a heavy spin. And obviously in the XP lane too, kind of the same idea.
And a jungler can fight in the jungle as well, where all the walls are available for that heavy spin to be used with. So now we look at the Franco pick from Rebellion. So they're going for a pick of strategy, and in contrast to the first match, right, when we saw GeekFam going for a pick of strat, they have a lot of crowd control, a lot of AoE to zone the members from ONIC Esports from following up. Although, for ONIC Esports, they can disperse, yet again, this teamfight composition with the Akai, and they can send in the Claw to just wreak havoc in the backline. They need solutions for that, as ONIC will now ban the Phoveus as well.
Okay, so the Phoveus ban has been placed here for the side of ONIC. What is this hinting at?
The Phoveus ban? I think it will hint at
Lancelot? Ooh. Yeah. I mean, it's a dash-heavy hero for sure. What are they going for, right? Ling has been banned, so we're not going to see that. Fanny too. Lancelot is the only hero that is left up for grabs, but I feel like Rebellion might just go for the ban here. Noticing how ONIC have actually placed kind of already like an insurance pick, right? With the Akai, it actually just blocks out the bans coming from Rebellion, because Rebellion, they're trying to focus Kairi's hero pool down in the second phase with the Ling. But because the Akai has been picked up, ONIC can actually just flex that. You ban all Kairi's heroes, we still have the Akai that we secured earlier on. But let's take a look at the comment here by Fearless. He actually really wants to face Sans, because last season he made it really difficult for Fearless to farm, but he's not going to get his wish, because Kairi wants to play.
And I don't know who's the 2 of lesser evils. I mean, Kairi is insane. This is something that I was thinking. Could ONIC Esports actually pick up the Karina? There is the Lancelot, but I also was thinking about the Karina. But now the Karina has actually been banned by ONIC themselves, as Rebellion is going to choose their first pick here in the second phase in that Tamus. So a really, really reliable EXP laner in his own right. And ONIC Esports, what can they choose against this?
If the Paquito from ONIC Esports goes towards the EXP lane, that will be a bit of a skill matchup, and Thamus for sure has the easier time, right?
Hey.
And if they go for that, there's going to be a very solid front line for Rebellion, but we just got a glimpse.
Did you see a glimpse? Who was that? The trio, the BTK trio. Where were they sitting? The Samsung Zone up in the front. And you guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want to watch in the Samsung Zone, right in front of the stage.
With BTK.
With BTK, all you need to do is get your tickets and obviously have a Samsung phone. That's all you need to be sitting with the VIPs. But speaking of VIPs, Kairi here, wrapping up their picks. They actually go for a Ruby. He said that he's always been interested in playing in Indonesia because Mobile Legends here in Indonesia is bigger than in the Philippines.
Ooh. Big statement there. But now ONIC has run out of their composition, man. They have the Eve, they have the Ruby. So far, it's pretty solid, right? A lot of crowd control, a lot of AoE as well. They can definitely have an edge in the team fights, but Val will be on that Franco, so they have to be prepared to try and let someone get hooked, essentially. And I don't know, the last pick from Rebellion might make that a bit difficult for ONIC Esports to try and do.
Is the last pick going to be that jungle, or is Julian going to be the jungler? The answer is a Benedetta pick here, and what does this tell us?
Oh, it's Benedetta jungler. Furious is on it. All right, so I was just saying, I was gonna say that maybe it's gonna be Tamaz in the jungle. Julian, Benedetta. This is a hero that we've actually spoken about. Benedetta just got a buff recently in the patch, so technically she is stronger than she was before in the last patch. But the thing is, with the Demon Slayer emblem, we are probably going to see the same kind of Benedetta, the tank Benedetta that Albert used in the MSC event.
Okay, so with that said, both compositions have been locked in stone here for game number 1 between ONIC as well as Rebellion. This is the talents prediction without knowing the drafts, right? All three of us have opted for ONIC this time around. And why is this, Arashi?
Well, ONIC has a lot more success so far, and they have the effect of actually having Kairi, right? So there's a lot of hype surrounding this transfer, per se, and we're really looking forward to seeing how he performs, because the rumors have been insane. And look at the audience prediction by TikTok, man.
Yeah, well, the audience agrees with us, 92%. That is the most one-sided audience prediction we've seen in Season 10 so far. It has mostly been quite equal, with Geek Fam even fighting back against Alter Ego in the audience prediction. But Eterna, we're about to step into the game.
Yeah, I mean, even according to history, out of the 4 times that RBL has met with ONIC Esports, they have not won a single game against ONIC. So we'll see, right? The data is against them right now. A lot of predictions are against Rebellion right now. Let's see if they can pull out the impossible going against ONIC Esports with the new roster.
Yep, they're up against overwhelming odds, to say the least. So we'll have to see, man. What are they going to try and do? Will Val find success? Has ONIC figured out the strategies? We'll have to see. And soon we will take a look at just how these two beasts will clash up against each other, man.
A recap on the lineups, the compositions for both of the teams. One pick style composition versus a team fight comp that ONIC has. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. The debut of Kairi in Indonesia. We're jumping straight into the land of dawn for the match as Samo is pushing on so much damage already onto Val, but Val, pure class. Oof, just staying composed there, not using the flicker.
I'm a little disappointed.
Why?
Just a little. Because there's so much reputation surrounding Kairi on those assassins that I really wish that he would have pulled that out. But maybe it's going to be a pocket strat, as even Kairi on this Akai is going to deal so much damage onto Suelo, hindering his movement once again.
Let's see, Battle of the Little Wanderer. It's actually going to be Kairi who doesn't get it. Fearless wins out the Retribution battle early on, and Rebellion Zion lead.
I thought that ONIC Esports would go a lot more aggressive there. Oh, but Val gets a hook onto Samo HD, and he will be able to escape. But honestly, They actually got the earlier, they won the earlier trade using the G poke, to try and track down Val. And actually, Samo was able to cancel out the regen from Val. So he came into that fight with low HP, and so ONIC had more manpower. I thought they would definitely go for something a bit more aggressive, but I guess they're playing it a bit more cautious, knowing that Rebellion Zion, they are a very aggressive team, right? So ONIC opt for the calm, calculated way.
Now that's the thing, Rebellion Zion right now is playing towards their comfort. They're leading in this early game. They're trying to build more map pressure as well as awareness to be able to get these neutral objectives. But once again, it is going to be a little here in that mid side.
Yeah, Fearless jumping in with eye for an eye onto Samo. Kairi not offering that heavy spin just yet. Gonna get fished out there. It might be first blood, but heavy spin brings Fearless back. 5-3, getting that first blood in his debut. Presented to you by the Samsung Galaxy A series.
Ooh, Kairi as well as Samo barely escapes there, but off camera, it is going to be CW taken out in a 1v1 situation against Highs, our rookie that we know came from Pawn. So this is already very interesting as once again here, Boots caught in 1v3.
We got a game on our hands, man. This is already shaping up to be a classic as Rebellion Zion has the pressure for the turtle. Notice how, again, Arashi, the setup from Rebellion, this is what we mentioned so many times about this team. They're so good at setting up in the early game and looking for these crazy skirmishes, but Boots, he doesn't want to give it over to Rebellion. He goes in 1v3, picks up the kill on the backside as Kairi goes in for Retribution and he gets it. Fearless now, trying to finish out the damage. I'm offended, also two members and a combo wombo with the real world manipulation is there. Kairi 1 HP! He still survives! Wait, he goes in for the damage on to the minion's Boots. Finishes off Suelo, but Suelo getting out.
Suelo with the outplay there with a 1v2 situation, barely amount of HP. He's actually able to survive and prevent ONIC Esports from picking yet another pickoff. But as of right now, it does seem like ONIC Esports is still leading in terms of that economy, 1,000 to their name, and Rebellion Zion have not been able to get as much pressure that we intended them to.
That was disastrous for the set of Rebellion Zion, man. They had the setup, but Boots, he just came in with no hesitation, and I don't think they were prepared for the damage coming in. Look at the emblems right now for Kairi and Fearless. They are both with a Demon Slayer, so Kairi somehow with the tank, quote-unquote tank hero, was still able to get the best of Fearless in that Retribution battle. And ONIC Esports, man, they are so decisive, and I think that's what we need to do against a team that knows what they want to do in the early game, like Rebellion Zion.
I think when we came into this new patch, we were expecting a lot more of the assassin emblems on those jungles, but both teams have actually opted for that Demon Slayer. Why is this? Is it still good?
Well, it has been good before. Yeah, man, what? In mid lane, I guess Kairi just got another pick there with the help of Drian, is able to just delete him. But back to the topic, Arashi, Demon Slayer. We've seen more Demon Slayer than Killing Spree than High and Dries this entire season so far.
Yeah, it's always been about the objective, right? The jungler really seems to be shifting towards a more objective role, and with the flexibility coming in with the different kind of heroes, right? Beefier, tankier heroes coming into the meta, you don't really need as much damage to actually be useful, right? You can gank and use your utility to get your team ahead without being responsible for dealing the damage and securing the kills.
Fearless though, a little bit of trade, jumping in with an eye for an eye, not able to get out just yet, but there you go. Final eye for an eye, timed perfectly by Samo to bring him back. I'm offended there. Val bringing Kairi back to the under the turret, but it's gonna get cancelled out. No bloody hunt full duration. Both teams disengage, and both teams will just go for the turtle and the trade.
Yeah, it does seem like ONIC Esports is going to set up faster. Val here misses his Iron Hook. He was anticipating someone to be circling around in that area, but understanding that they cannot contest this turtle, it does seem like Rebellion Zion is going to be rotating towards that top side.
Oh, enhanced game, but CW is able to outplay in true CW fashion, surviving a 1v3.
He just dodges out of everything and sidesteps just perfectly, man. Cold calm, nerves of steel. As Boots is just showing up in the bottom side, and Diamond will be taken very low. He almost gets taken out. One more bolt would have gotten him, but that won't be a kill for Drian. That will be a tower for ONIC Esports, though.
Successfully zoned out there in the bottom side. Another objective to the pockets of the side of ONIC Esports. And once again, this is going to be very difficult for Rebellion Zion. If they do want to do the cross-map type of situation, it's very difficult to put CW in his place because he is such a reliable gold laner. I mean, time and time again, CW, he tries to get ganked. He's always able to do these outplays that really reflect his mechanical prowess in that particular area. As now, Kairi might be in trouble, but not just yet.
Kairi stole the purple buff. Yep. He had the purple buff. It wasn't Fearless. Both of the junglers didn't have the retribution. Kairi just got the last hit.
Wow, man. That is tough for Fearless to take in. And honestly, they're on the back foot right now. And Val on the Franco, he's trying his best to make the big plays happen. But so far, the only real play we've seen is him flickering forward and securing the kill earlier. So he's not having the success he wants. And that's partially because ONIC is doing the same thing that Altigo was kind of doing, right? Val is waiting for a pickoff, and out of nowhere, Boots comes in and takes the fight to him. He jumps in and chunks him too low to actually participate in the fight. And the rest of the team follow up and get success there instead.
Let's slow it down a bit. Let's talk about the win conditions for both of these teams. Rebellion Zion, their win condition relies heavily on getting the winning lane. Dyron, winning the lane in the bottom side is crucial, but so far they haven't been able to do it. Here, Boots in a 2v1 is actually able to zone the members away, taking a lot of HP down, but finally Rebellion both bottoms and almost taking down that top side too. Very low HP, but because ONIC were the ones to first get those turrets, it's going to be really hard for Rebellion to contest any neutral objective. Fearless gonna get zoned out, and that's a free turtle to the hands of ONIC. Once again, going to the hands of Kairi. Turtle slain by Samsung Galaxy A series.
Yeah, Rebellion Zion, they're trying their hardest to be able to open up the space that ONIC Esports has really pressured onto them. And now, once again, ONIC Esports, with that initiative movement, is going to rotate towards that top side, take Val out, and eventually take yet another objective on the board. So the trades are happening, but at this rate, ONIC Esports, they're trading a little bit faster than Rebellion Zion.
Absolutely, and they're making sure that the members that matter are getting the resources they need. CW just picked up the golden staff, and he has a bit of physical defense to his name, so he will be secure as I say that, though. He gets taken out with magic damage, and the fight breaks out as Rebellion pulls the trigger.
Kairi way too tanky, a lot of peel here. Boots will be able to use knockout strike as Diamond Fender connects onto Fearless. Fearless disengaging as Dyron goes deep under the real world inflation, but look at that, it's gonna be the final blow, taking Samo down. Boots taken low, but he's ultimately able to win out in that trade. Rebellion 2-1. CW fell in the midst of that team fight.
Yeah, they're not going down without a fight. I mean, CW already 0-1 in terms of KDA as Fearless goes in once again.
Fearless jumping in, way low, taken low, but the turret comes and falls down. Rebellion Zion coming back in this game in the 8th minute. The Beatrix is getting that power spike very soon.
I think it all started with Sway Low actually getting the jump onto CW. He gets the pickoff, I believe, before the fight even happens. And so ONIC Esports come into that fight with a man disadvantage. And it's not just any man, it is CW in the gold lane, one of the main damage dealers, one of the main sources of AoE. And so without him around, the team fight potential from ONIC Esports is severely diminished. And Rebellion Zion completely take advantage, but now they go on Sway Low.
Heavy spin by Kairi on point, pinning him down for CW to take the kill. Now sieging down the turret. Dyron not wanting that to happen. Goes in for the 1v1, forcing the battle mirror image to come out. 3 seconds. That's the turtle cam. Lord has spawned in the land of Dawn. 9 minutes in. It's the normal Lord, but both teams are already setting up for this.
Yeah, the reset as well. It does seem like both teams have a kind of advantage in that sense, but ONIC Esports has a little bit more understanding that the bottom lane is already pushing because Boots already cleared that lane out. Now, so we're going to see with that thing being the current situation, we see Val once again with the iron hook that connects.
Oh, that was a bad target to go for. It was the roamer, and Samo was instantly able to punish that fact. Meanwhile, Highs in that bush, waiting for someone to step in. Kairi jumping in way too aggressively there. Will be punished for a bit. He's taken low, but in the backside, look at the blazing duet. Unable to connect onto Highs. He's still able to position himself out. Fearless jumping out of the real world isolation, and that is Rebellion getting out of the fight. They do lose one, and it's ONIC who take the favorable trade.
And they get control right now, but most of their heroes are actually on low HP. Looking now at the item, the claw on CW still on the brown boots, but itemizing a bit more forward sustain, right? He knows that the members of Rebellion Zion, they have a lot of poke, right? They have ways to chunk out the members of ONIC Esports, so he goes for a bit more sustain to make sure that he does not have to go back to base all the way before the next team fight.
Another thing that we could highlight from the side of ONIC Esports is how Drion is such an unsung hero. I mean, from every time Rebellion Zion wants to go for those aggressive team fights, that real-world manipulation is always just there to back them up, and he actually itemized for that Ice Queen wand first. So instead of the Enchanted Talisman, he went for that. So building that utility, building that slow, and you can definitely feel the impact when it came down to it.
I mean, Val is just like trying to check the bushes with the iron hooks, and if he does that, he does not have the chance to land it on the members that matter. Fearless gets quite aggressive, but Val tries to make something happen.
Yeah, look at that. That's going to be the Electro final flow onto the back line, going on to Dreon. Fearless trying to disrupt. Look at Kairi. He's able to zone Fearless away here with help of the real-world manipulations. Kairi taking that damage onto Fearless. He's going to be taken down. Direct trying to put more damage onto the team, but the Vengeance perfectly timed will not be enough to save him from his impending doom. It's a 1-for-2. ONIC, again, winning out of the trades.
Winning out of the trade and taking down Fearless as well, so they don't have any pressure onto this next board. Without the retribution, it's going to be very difficult for Rebellion Zion to steal this away. It is still possible, as you can see here. Highs and Suelo, they're not far off.
Oh, Suelo almost goes for the steal. CW juking for a bit, but Suelo will fall to the hands of Dreon. Boots gets hooked. No more fight. Both teams disengaging. Rebellion, knowing that they lost this trade, to just go back.
Now, ONIC will try and make plays with the Lord, and honestly, they have such a good read on the intentions of Rebellion Zion in those team fights, man. Understanding that Val is the only real engage tool, we saw that once Val uses his Iron Hook to try and check in the bushes, instead of using perhaps a bit of the other skills of MMI, then fight breaks out right now, and once again, that's a proactive move, but it's an equal trade for both teams.
Yeah, an equal trade. It is going to be Boots caught in a 1v2 situation and lost that, but in return, he bought a lot of time for the side of ONIC Esports to get yet another objective in that mid-side turret. But you can see that the Lord is already marching down there in the bottom side, and Highs is already sniffing out the whereabouts of Samo here.
Good decision-making by both ONIC and Rebellion. Rebellion, knowing they can't defend 5v5 in the mid lane, they rotate towards that top side, baiting Boots into the bush to actually pick him off. Meanwhile, ONIC, sure, you can have Boots. We'll just trade it for the mid lane turret, get more map pressure, but now we're going to take a look at the items. Suelo, though, oh, very aggressive onto Dreon, but no, that's a 1v3. Suelo going to fall. That's a mega kill picked up by Kairi.
Unfortunately, it does not pay off for Suelo right now. ONIC just picked up on the tendency for Suelo to go for those quote-unquote assassinations. That is what his item build is made for, so he doesn't get the pick he desires. And it's so difficult because now without the engage tool, he just go in aggressively, and that will be yet another pick for ONIC. Everything just happens so fast, and they're just so sure of the outcome.
Man, that was such a good conceal play by ONIC. Now they've eliminated Rebellion Zion's main damage dealer in Highs and is going to push the siege even further. They've taken a tower in the top side. They're looking for the mid, really just asphyxiating Rebellion Zion, taking away all their buffs as well as that jungle, as Samo once again might be looking for a play onto Rebellion Zion.
Oh, they might just go for it here. They're going to try to keep down that mid lane, but look at the flanks. Look at the flanks. They're all just being ready. Suelo with the enhanced chain connecting onto two. No follow by the defending Samo! My goodness, finds 3 on the board, and that's going to be 3 taken down. Suelo looking for the trade, but he comes in way too late. You're all alone. Boots takes the kill, and it's a 4-4-0 for ONIC Esports.
Crazy, crazy support and update here from the side of ONIC Esports in that particular team fight. They're going all in here, understanding that Highs is the only single person left to defend this one.
Ooh, they have 2 more seconds before Val is respawn, and Highs is doing a great job defending, but he needs to be careful. They have 4 members. They have enough force to take him out. He just get away, but he will be taken out, and that will be ONIC Esports taking the first game away.
Wow, 14 minutes is all it took for this new roster to take down Rebellion Zion. 19-7 in the end.
That was harsh. And we can't say that it was too one-sided either, because we saw glimpses of how Rebellion could have taken that against ONIC Esports, but just somehow, some way, every time Rebellion Zion wanted to go and on the initiative, ONIC Esports seemed to be 1 and 2 steps ahead. And this is Samo and not Keyboy in that roaming position, but Samo had a huge impact in those team fights, in those skirmishes, to be able to just be and pave the way for the other members from the side of ONIC to dish out the damage that they needed.
Absolutely, man. They understood that Val is the only real engage they have, so they just count on that happening, and they're always able to get a jump on the members of Rebellion Zion. Not a single time did we see someone get hooked, and it's disaster for ONIC. They're always ready, they were always prepared, and there was no other play. There's no other different strategies that Rebellion can, like, feint the Iron Hook with. So it's just very difficult. And I do believe that in that final moment, there must be some sort of miscommunication because it seems like a solid play. Suelo got the insane flank, but then he backs away and the team moves forward and he just wasn't ready anymore.